Hey everyone, and welcome back to Don't Open That Door. I'm Justin, and I'll invest in property, but I'm not going there.
I'm Nico, and boy howdy, on a teacher salary, I'm probably not going to own property for a while.
Well, I'm Dan, and I would totally build a studio there.
And today we're talking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the 2022 cut. So this was directed by David Blue Garcia, starring Sarah Yarkin as Melody, Elsie Fisher as Lila, Olwen Fuere as Sally Hardesty, Mo Dunford as Richter, Jacob Lattimore as Dante, and Mark Burnham as Leatherface. So this movie takes place roughly 50 years after the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre of 1973. We open with a recap of some of the events in that first movie, and they're being shown on the TV in a local gas station. Lila, along with her sister Melody, Melody's business partner Dante, and Dante's fiancé are all headed to Harlow, Texas, in a bid to sell property there to young people in an attempt to revitalize the town. That sounds complex, but we'll talk about that in a second. When they get to the town, they run into Richter, a gruff repairman who's actually nicer than he first seems. Lila has a conversation with him where she reveals that she was actually the victim of a school shooting. So, Nico, what happens after that?
Bunch of shit. But, well, it's just a bunch of shit. Melody and Dante enter the local orphanage where they find an old woman who claims that she owns the house. And the pair get into an argument with her and end up calling the police, which sends the old woman into a heart attack. Then a huge hulking brute, who she calls her son, takes her to the police car, along with Dante's fiancé. Along the way to get medical attention, though, the old woman dies, and the hulking brute kills everybody else in the car. Before she dies, though, Dante's fiancé sends out an SOS which alerts Sally, the sole survivor of the 1973 massacre, who coincidentally is now a Texas Ranger. So she heads to Harlow to get vengeance. But while all this is happening, a bus full of potential investors shows up. It's also a party bus, and they're also like a bunch of millennials. And they begin to look at the potential properties in the town. Melody and Dante check the old woman's house to see if she actually owned the property, which she did. So they fucking suck. And the hulking brute, who turns out to be Leatherface from the original, what? He shows up. He grabs a chainsaw that was hidden in a wall, and gets back up to his old ways, killing everyone in sight. And gosh darn it, Melody and Lila, well, they just skedaddle right on out of there and get on the party bus.
I just want to point out, it was like Castlevania. He opened a hole in the wall and just took out a chainsaw.
Literally, though.
Like, did he put that there? Like, what was going on?
I have to imagine.
Hide it for a rainy day.
Well, Dan, how does this one wrap up? Please tell me it gets better.
Wait, hold on. That's even funnier if the original doesn't take place in Harlow.
Because he took the chainsaw all the way there.
Like, what the fuck?
He just had, like, stashes of chainsaws.
Multiple chainsaw stashes, yeah. Just hidden everywhere in Texas. Sorry, please continue.
At this point, the party bus really doesn't offer that much protection, as you would guess. And Leatherface gets in there and just starts killing all the investors. Sally shows up and shoots Leatherface, but he just tanks it and chainsaws her. Melody and Lila have a final confrontation with Leatherface where they shoot him and then uppercut him with a chainsaw. Yes, you heard that right. And he falls into a pool of water, seemingly defeated. Well, now Melody and Lila get into their celebration Tesla Model S and engage the fancy autopilot function.
Do you think that car comes with Twitter equipped in it?
It's about to.
Dude,
Free speech up in that car. Well, turns out Leatherface is still alive, so he grabs Melody through her passenger window and cuts off her head, while Lila almost comically is driven away by the autopilot function on the Tesla Model S. Slowly. very, very slowly.
You could walk faster than this car is driving. I'm not fucking kidding.
Which Leatherface did. That's how we caught up.
The car's going away like fucking like 10, 15 miles an hour as she's fucking leaving.
Not even.
Well, now we get through a little bit of credits, and then we're treated to a post-credit scene with Leatherface just walking home after a long day's worth of work.
Christ.
The end. Until next time.
Leatherface said free speech, bitch, and cracked her on the lip.
It is in
boy.
Texas, so, you know, good old
This-
Texan values.
What a fucking shit show.
In this episode, the DOTD pod laughed too much.
This is going to be a rant
Completely lost
episode.
it, y'all.
All right. Bringing it back.
Oh, God.
Bringing it back. All right. Well, let's at least try and start this off right, unlike the movie. How does this one sound? Dan, we're going to start with you. You seem the most composed. How does this one sound? Get it? How does this one sound?
I mean, it sounds good. In my opinion, there's not a lot to talk about here. It sounds good. It sounds like people getting sawed by chainsaws.
There were some good squelches and squelches and, you know,
Yeah.
as we say in the business.
Technical terms here.
I really don't have anything else to add in terms of the sound. I'll say that in terms of the looks, I got to give a shout outs to the visual effects crew. I liked a lot of the kills. We'll talk more about the kills specifically, but
I think the gore was very well done.
yeah, exactly. I was going to say,
agreed.
I think the gore is very well done. And the kind of, I don't know if it's quite considered to be stunt work, choreography, kill choreography, whatever it is, the way that people died at times, I appreciated the lack of cutaways. Like,
Yeah.
they did a lot of cool kind of camera work when it came to the kills. Because sometimes, you know, like, imagine the classic old movie, they just cut away to someone's face whenever, like, the actual kill blow happens, and then you see them with, like, a knife stuck in them or something like that. Like, nah, like, this one was very intent on showing you, and I thought there was good work done there. So shout outs to y'all, whoever was behind that, visual effects and whatnot. Y'all were definitely the all-stars of this.
Absolutely.
Anything else from either of you two on how this movie looked?
I will say, like, the film, it looks nice. It's a well-shot film. There are some occasional shots that are a bit confusing, but, like, it looks like a movie that was made in 2022 by people who know how to make competent films. Or, sorry, know how to make competent-looking films, I guess I should say. That, and I guess this could go in how it looks and sounds. I think the acting in this movie was also another strength it had. The characters were all charismatic, and I appreciated their presence more so than probably most other slashers, actually.
Yeah, you got a point there.
You're right about that. So I want to take it now to talking more about the characters. Nico, we should do an addendum here. You meant the actors, didn't you? When you said...
Yes. Sweet Christ, yes. Oh my God, I hated the fucking characters. The
Well, go
actors
ahead.
Were good.
Elaborate on this point. And let's go ahead and let's start from the top, shall we? I feel like one of the characters here, Dante, was a true asshole. Like, true top tier asshole. How do you possibly, him and Melody, they just ran up in this orphanage, which also was this old woman's house, and they ran up in there, didn't even have any like documentation to say they own the house or even see her documentation. They just called the cops on her immediately and said, you can't be in this house. We're kicking you out. Like, that is a pretty trash tier move, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, like, Dante's girlfriend gets, like, Texas Chainsaw massacred. Well, not really Chainsaw, I guess. Because, like, Leatherface just kind of, like, kills her without the whole
yeah,
thing.
true.
But, like, he never once in the movie asks where she is.
He does
Like,
not give a damn.
Mm-mm.
So, I don't know. I thought he was, like, a fairly awful dude. But what'd you guys think about our cast?
They suck.
I fucking hated Melody. I really liked her actor. I think she did a very good job portraying the character, but oh my God, she was so fucking insufferable. From the moment we had eyes on her, she's just instantly instigating in every scene she's in, I'm pretty sure. And she never once has any kind of understanding of just like social tact or cues. It's just fucking bad, man. Like, these have to be. Were the writers joking around? Were they just like, fuck it? Why not? I give up.
I want to talk real quick about one line she has where she tells Dante in a real serious voice, I want to make sure we're on the right side of this. And I was like, yeah, that would have been a nice thought.
It's
Maybe
too
like
late.
fucking 30 minutes ago before you killed the old woman.
Yeah.
Like, come on now. And that's so weird because I'm not saying that Leatherface is like right for doing this, but in a real ironic twist, they framed Leatherface as somebody defending his home.
Mm-hmm.
Which he... Is that his... I guess that's his home, yeah.
To be honest, like, he kills Dante because Dante's in the home. After he kills Dante, for the most part, he just sits there and chills out until the next person comes into the home, and then he kills them. And then I think somebody escapes to the party bus and he chases them to the party bus.
Yeah, Melody does, yeah.
I'm kind of wondering, and like after the party bus, he goes back home and he just chills there. Like, I'm wondering if they don't fuck with him, would he just sit there? Like, they could probably take over the whole town and he would just chill as long as he's got his house, you know?
He's just over there hitting up the fucking Uber Eats.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't really leave home too much, but you know, I'm here. I'm here if you need me. Yeah, that was fucking weird. And you know, I want to talk more about Leatherface, but real quick, I do have to touch on this, and it is kind of a serious talking point. Like, the character of Lila, they gave her the backstory of her being the survivor of a school shooting, and like right fucking away, I knew that this movie was not going to properly approach that issue or dive into it or handle it with as much tact as I believe it necessitated. And it was kind of one of those where, to me, after watching the movie the whole way through, it felt kind of cheap to use as like a plot point almost. Like, that was the way that it left kind of a bad taste in my mouth. I feel like there were other ways that they could have given her a backstory where she didn't like guns. I mean, she could just not like guns. Like, that could literally be it. I thought that that was an unnecessary backstory to give her if they weren't going to commit the time into fully exploring that and like dealing with some of the trauma. Literally, the solution is I picked up a gun and I shot it, and now that's been the first step to me recovering. And I was like, this has left me with all types of funny taste in my mouth.
A hot take maybe, but I don't think her not liking guns had any effect on the movie at all.
No.
Because, I mean, aside from a couple conversations about it, there's this one scene where Sally gives her the shotgun, like after Sally is like dead, and she's hesitant to take it for a second because, you know, she's, you know, trying to decide if, you know, she's trying to work herself up to that, you know, reliving trauma, you know, whatever. But my thing about that is literally 30 seconds earlier in the movie, she has a fucking gun already. So
Yeah.
like she already had a fucking gun. So like, I don't understand, like it wasn't a problem then. And she pauses and hesitates on this new shotgun for 30 seconds and then there's no problem. Or there's one scene a little bit later where she does kind of get little flashbacks, PTSD, I guess, except it really doesn't influence anything, really. It doesn't actually matter. So like, you're right. I agree. I think it felt kind of cheap and because it didn't actually amount to anything.
Yeah. And I mean, like, I know it's a different type of trauma, and I don't mean to constantly bring this movie up on the podcast, but like, in my opinion, a movie like Midsommar, where like the kind of grief and trauma is a central framing piece of it, I think that is a much better way to handle a serious thing like this. You know what I mean? Like, versus it's essentially a cheap pop. I personally didn't like it. I didn't like it at all.
Yeah, and I just gotta say, as someone who has been uncomfortably close and adjacent to in school shooting type scenarios. For example, there have been multiple times where I shit you not, a kid had a gun in the room next to mine, and like having even been just that close is already traumatic enough, and the way they approached it, I think, was just frankly disgusting.
Yeah. So that was something that I felt like we had to address. And now we're going to go back to shitting on the movie. So,
Yup.
Leatherface in this one. Dan, I need some quick maths from you and Nico. Nico, I know math's not your specialty, but I need you and Dan to help me out in this, okay?
Okay. All right.
So, the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre takes place in 1973.
Yes.
And this movie takes place in 2022. Now, in that movie, Leatherface was a grown-ass man. TM.
Yep.
So let's go ahead. We'll be generous. We'll set his age at fucking 24. I think he was older than that, but we'll set his age at like 24. I know this movie says he was like 16 to 20. Get that reductionist history out of here, son. I seen the man. He was a full-ass man. So...
he was fucking big.
Yeah, he was big in that original shit. So in this one now, how old is Leatherface?
I would put him at, due to my quick maths, I would put him at maybe about roughly 75, give or take a year or two.
Which is also wild because he looks like 48.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, Leatherface is still jacked in this one.
He's swinging a chainsaw around like he's 48.
This dude was over here like pelting a chainsaw. First off, both him and the chainsaw. This chainsaw that he pulled out from the wall was like very well fueled up, started up, and just like, it didn't stop. Do you need any oil, Leatherface? Do you need like to refuel? What's going on here?
Here's the thing about that too. Like, gas expires.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
It's like they tell you to not leave your fucking fuel in your mower over the wintertime. Like you're supposed to like run your lawnmower dry. And I'm like, it's been 50 years, if that. Okay, maybe he popped it out to kill a couple people, but like it was in the fucking wall. I can assume it's been there for a little while. Like, how is this? No. All my know with the chainsaw and him, he's so strong, he literally gave a dude a fucking compound fracture with one hand. Like, the dude tried to punch him and he like just took his hand and like pushed his hand down and broke his bones and then stabbed the dude with his own bones. He sustains like 4, maybe, shotgun shells.
Yeah.
And he gets stabbed.
Yeah.
And he gets uppercut with the chainsaw. But at the end of the movie, he's still standing like nothing happened. Why is he so durable?
I'm still standing like I never did.
Yes.
I'm still standing. That song fucking slaps, by the way.
He might have really been okay.
Really,
like, why,
really
though?
like you. And I want you. Do you want you?
I just don't get it personally. I don't get it personally. But maybe one of you two could fill it in on me, yo.
Nah,
I
don't
fucking
get it.
can't.
I mean, this man's swinging a heavy-ass chainsaw around. Like, he literally uses a ranged weapon. He throws that shit multiple times. Multiple times he throws it. He goes fucking
with the
bowling
precision,
with this
too.
shit, bro. He fucking slides it across the wall like he's fucking playing the Olympics. Like, what's the fucking...
Curling.
Yeah, he fucking curls that shit, bro. Like, how?
I'm going to say this, too. Like, and as a quick note, when he does one of his ranged attacks, he like... The chainsaw's still going, and he trips Lila with the chainsaw, and you hear a cut sound, but she's not hurt.
No,
she's not cut anywhere.
Nope.
Nowhere.
I thought her leg was gone or something, yeah.
I don't know what I thought he did, but I didn't think she was completely okay.
Can we also talk about how she gets like impaled through the leg and is just like fine? She can walk and run completely, no problems at all. And there's no blood on her leg or anything. Like, what?
I don't know, yo. I don't know. But I do know there's one particular scene that Dan doesn't like. So, Dan, why don't you go ahead and break that scene down for me?
Okay,
what is your dishonorable scene, if you will?
So, this scene got me livid. I was trying to give this movie the benefit of the doubt until this scene happened, right? And it's when he jumps on the party bus or gets into the party bus.
Yeah.
And there's maybe, 12, 15 investors. They're young investors.
Yeah.
And as soon as he steps on the bus, everyone pulls out their phone and starts live streaming. And I'm just like, yo, if a man gets on the bus 2 feet from you, wearing somebody else's face, wielding a bloody chainsaw, I would not live stream that shit. And maybe one person would pull out a phone and discreetly record. But that would be about it. Everyone else would freak the fuck out. And then the dude in front goes, "You're getting canceled for this."
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, no. The big X on that shit. First of all, you can't cancel somebody who's not fucking famous. Like, you can't even do that shit, right? Brands get canceled, maybe celebrities. But who the fuck is this man? Like, you can't cancel somebody who doesn't have shit. Second of all, really? You're saying, really? Come on. And then, of course, we get a scene that's like creatively kind of cool, I guess, where like he kills somebody and then the phone falls down to the ground and now we're seeing people get massacred through the live stream. Okay, kind of creative. Okay,
that was
fine.
an interesting shot.
Yeah. But of course, there's comments on the live stream. "Oh, that looks so cool. I wish I was there. Oh, no, that looks so fake. That's totally fake." Oh, really? Like, a lot of this movie just felt really gimmicky to me. That was one of the scenes. Like, we kind of talked about Lila's backstory. There's just like a lot of shit that just like felt like you were trying to pander to a young audience and just be hip and cool. And I was like, no, just.
Well, I was going to say,
come on.
you know what else felt like a total cheap shot there? At the very, very, very start of the movie, Lila's scrolling through her phone and she sees kind of like a memorial to like, I guess her friends and like the students at the school, like on her like newsfeed or whatever like that. But they also made sure to include like a BLM thing. And I'm just like, that seems like, it just kind of felt like they were putting that in there to put that in there. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't feel like they were going to talk about that at all, explore that at all, like nothing at all to do with anything. Like, a lot of that felt like that though. Like, things just happen because things happen. And there's no real point or purpose.
Exactly. It's just like, hey, let's just put this in there for whatever. There's one that I feel like is kind of a sort of exception, is like they get to Harlow and they see the orphanage, and right outside the orphanage is flying a Confederate flag.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh shit, we got to take that down. We have investors coming in 20 minutes. Like, we got to take that down. And that to me is like, okay, that makes sense. You're in the country, like in Texas, like that makes sense that it's there. It makes sense that you have a bunch of young, rich investors, you know, who probably won't agree with that. Take that down. Cool. You said your statement about what you wanted to say in this movie, or, you know, one thing, and it makes sense. Cool. Awesome. I'm with it. But like every other one that they did was just like, yo, are you serious? Like, why? It's so like blatant and so just no purpose to it. And just cheap shots. Like we've already said, you know?
Yeah. One other thing I did want to talk about as well, Nico. People in this movie don't die, do they? They've got like a lot of HP in this fucking movie.
No, like they've all got auto life cast on them or some shit, bro. Like they're in the fucking final boss of Final Fantasy X fighting True Yevon or whatever the fuck it was. And like there's this one scene in particular where when her character was introduced, I had such high hopes.
Oh, Sally?
I had such high hopes. Yes, Sally. I had such high hopes.
I did too.
Oh my God. And I mean, I guess she's otherworldly because Leatherface literally like picks her up through the chest via chainsaw, wiggles her around a little bit, and throws her down on the ground. And 10 minutes later, she's good enough to like sit up, shoot him twice, and get back down and like have a little witty last line of really confusing dialogue to fucking Lila about like, you can't run. Like, bitch, yes the fuck I can.
No, you can't run.
Yeah.
You can't run. You can only slowly autopilot out.
I really do think that autopilot scene is one of the funniest unintentional funny things I think I've ever seen in my fucking life.
Yeah, I would like to nominate that scene for Badgical.
Oh, that
Yes.
scene is already magical.
Yeah.
Fucking like whatever you want to call it. Like, I don't understand. And the best part is like, and I'm sorry to go back to that scene again, but it's like at the end of the first movie, Leatherface is kind of like an angry Leatherface dance. He goes like, "Arr," and like shakes his chainsaw above his head.
Yeah.
And in this one, he doesn't really have the energy anymore because he's like in his 70s. But he does a little shuffle from side to side to let you know, like, he's still got it. And like he holds up her head and he's like, yeah, stay away. And I'm just like, what? What did I just watch? Did Leatherface just tell these kids to get off his lawn? Like, is that what I just saw?
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. That was wild.
Well, also the thing about, and I just thought about this too, like in the original movie, when he does that little like dance kind of thing,
Yeah.
it's also like the whole movie, like he is just like insane and you can't really understand him or that whole family. And they're just like fucked up, demented, insane people. And
There's no
really,
logic to it. Yeah.
Right.
No.
So when he does that dance, it's really like kind of disturbing.
Yeah.
And I guess if you saw it without any context, you'd be like, oh, that looks kind of goofy. But like in the context of the movie, you're like, oh, that's kind of creepy. But like in this movie, there's none of that disturbing stuff or whatever. It's just, I'm killing people. So when he does his little shuffle at the end, you're just like, oh, okay. Like what?
He's just boogieing.
Yeah. Like, all right.
Yeah.
He's listening to some Dua Lipa in his AirPods.
And Dan mentioned this on the podcast, like, or on the pre-pod, I should say. But like, how fast does he fucking move sometimes to get from like place to place? Keep in mind, he's taken multiple shotgun wounds, stab wounds, everything else like that. And he is still able to like get up from the pool of water where the two sisters leave him, rush outside, get to the car, smash the window, and grab the girl and take her out, and then chop off her head really quickly. And I'm like, how is this possible? And sometimes like there's this creaky house, and I only notice it because they drew attention to how creaky the house was, where what the fuck is her name? I was gonna call her Maleficent.
Melody.
Melody.
Maleficent!
Like, Melody is over here walking through the house, and I mean, she's a petite chick, like, and the floorboards are creaking really heavily under her feet. And I'm like, damn, if they're creaking for you, Leatherface is about to fall through the fucking floor. And there's like multiple scenes where instead of people like teaming up on Leatherface or helping each other,
I feel like that whole bus could have taken him.
yes. And that's what I wanted to say. Nobody told anybody there was a fucking serial killer. Literally.
Nope.
Like, think about this. Melody knew, Lila knew, Dante, I mean, he couldn't talk because Leatherface like cut open his mouth, but like
Gave him the old Glasgow smile.
literally.
The one girl knew that something was going on and she just got on the bus and was like, close the door. No, close the door. You could be like,
Explaining.
yo, fucking Dante's dead as fuck. Close the door.
And like when they got the keys to drive away, dude stops to go like check out like a flat tire or something. And she's like, no, don't go. Instead of being like, there's a serial killer, keep driving. Or like whatever else you wanted to do. But just like talk to each other or communicate or help. There's a scene where, God, not Maleficent.
Melody.
Melody is fucking smart enough to like use her foot to angle a mirror to show fucking Richter. I was going to call him Richter, that, you know, Leatherface is hiding behind a corner, and that was all like 5D chess. But then like when he's fighting Leatherface, she doesn't run away or help. She just stays petrified under the bed. When Leatherface is randomly shoving his chainsaw through the floor, she doesn't try and like run or anything else like that. And the thing is, they shoot it and they show you she clearly has enough room to just like move to the side.
Yeah.
And the chainsaw doesn't even go down far enough to like really cut her. But she's like just standing in one place petrified. I laughed so fucking hard when Leatherface cut like a sewage pipe and shit spewed on her everywhere. Like, she fucking deserved that. Like, you could have gotten out. And also, I don't know, like, I just had big problems with this movie in general.
Tell me why like they big up two characters to be badass, Sally and Richter.
Yes.
Neither of them do jack shit.
Nope.
They literally die fast as fuck when they get there, especially Sally. Well, actually, both of them equally, maybe. But tell me why Sally gets there. She saves Melody and Lila. She's like, get in my car, get in my car.
Yep.
They get in the car and they're like, okay, drive. And Sally's like, no, I can't do that. What do you mean you can't drive? She's like, I've been waiting 50 years for this. All right, drive. No, I've been waiting 50 years. I have to kill him. He's after you. You have to stay here. Why the fuck do I gotta stay here? Like, what? So Sally gets out, locks them in the car, gets out, goes after Leatherface. She finds Leatherface, doesn't shoot him, does not shoot him. And then she's like, oh, you don't remember me? He leaves. She lets him just fucking leave.
Yeah,
and
she
go
does.
to the car. Leatherface starts attacking the two girls, and then Sally saves them and tosses them the keys and says, get the fuck out of here. Yo,
What?
you couldn't do that 2 minutes ago? Like,
Yeah.
why the fuck did any of this happen? Like, you could have just originally said, I'm going to kill this dude, take my keys and leave. Like, what?
That was totally nonsensical.
Like
Like
oh,
100% nonsensical.
And then she shoots him at one point, and then he like runs away, and then he's like down this dark alley, and you just hear a bunch of chainsaw sounds. And Sally even says, what is he doing? I'm thinking he's sitting there building some shit. Like some fucking Fortnite level shit here.
Yo.
Like he's gonna come out with like a super-powered chainsaw or whatever.
Cue the fucking Home Depot theme.
Man just runs out with his normalized chainsaw like nothing happened. Like, bro, what the fuck were you doing revving your engine in the hallway? Like what the fuck is going on?
I
Like,
love how
bro.
he deflected bullets with his chainsaw.
That was some real shit, man.
But not only that, there's a part where they try and run him over, and Leatherface activates bullet time, and he like hits the car and moves out of the way so that they like crash.
It was some real anime shit.
I was like, what the fuck? I don't know. But it's time for the what would you do? I'm tired of talking about this movie. I'm done. But not really, not yet. So, Nico, the plot to get all these investors here is kind of convoluted. Can you come up with another way to get a bunch of young people there for Leatherface to kill? Is there anything else you can think of that would get a bunch of people to that town? That's just easier to do?
Yeah, whatever the fuck they do for Burning Man, just do it there.
Yeah. I was going to say
Mhm.
music concert.
Yeah.
You agree with that shit, Dan?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
that's like prime area for a fucking festival.
It is. They could just hold it like right outside town or something like that.
Yeah.
And then like, that'd be perfect. So that's really true. Now, obviously discounting the official DOCD stance of if we ever did encounter Leatherface, we would have to hit him with the all-out attack and stomp him out, or we have to flee like, some scared little bitches. But what I really want to know, let's say we're going to put you in the role of Melody and Richter's attacking Leatherface, right? He's come to save you. In that particular moment, do you like also team up and like gang attack Leatherface, or do you run away? Like, what would you do at that point?
I would probably team up. I ain't no bitch. I would team up. Well, no, I'm kind of a bitch, but I would still team up.
Yeah, I would absolutely team up. Like, because at that point, Richter still had a chance
Yeah.
of coming back before he turned into,
Swiss cheese.
yeah, I was going to say flesh jello,
Well,
but that too.
Yeah.
Jeez. All right.
There was also a gun.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
would have helped a lot.
Yeah. Like Richter drops his gun.
I'm also very mad that the one person that they big up with guns and like, we talked about this whole like gun shit. Like he is the one who's like hardened gun supporter. He never got to use a gun. He had a gun and didn't shoot it.
At
You know
all.
what got me fucked up?
Hmm.
This dude had an assault rifle not 10 feet away from where he
Literally,
was.
though.
But this guy's like, nah, I gotta go in this house right now. Should I maybe get myself armed after watching a man get his face, not watching, but I see a man with his face like chopped off. I should maybe carry more than this pistol. Nah, I'm good.
Nah.
And by the way, to everyone listening, wondering, I wonder if it's actually a real assault rifle by the qualifications and definitions, I've got something. Here's a special DOTD stance. Go fuck yourself.
But you see, if you look at this and you analyze the
It
magazine
actually
size,
stands
you'll
for
know.
Armalite.
Listen, man, the way I
know
this,
about
bro,
Blackwater.
I'm not going to be sitting there getting eaten by a shark. Well, thank God it's a thresher shark and not a great white. I can tell by the length of the tail.
Right?
For real, though.
But, nah, I mean, like, I don't know. And that's particularly it, because the movie ain't really that great. But we'll talk about that right now, because it's time for the fucking critic review. So where do y'all think this one ranked on Rotten Tomatoes? Where is this one?
Man.
Where is this one at?
I hope it's slow low. Slow
Slow
low?
low?
Slow low. Like a slow crawl of people going to see it.
I'm going to say it has a 30.
Yeah, I'm feeling like a 33.
Holy shit, he beat you. It's a 32.
Wow.
Wow.
Audience didn't really rate it any higher. It's a 27 from the audience.
See, now I'm mad because, all right, this wasn't a particularly good movie either, but the critics gave Friday the 13th Part 3 a 7.
Yes.
I didn't like that movie very much, but it was way better than this movie.
Yeah.
Way
yeah.
the fuck better.
It's ironic because I don't know when we're releasing these. I'm assuming we're releasing these back to back.
We're releasing these back to back, yeah.
But, okay, so listeners, we peeked behind the curtain. 2 days ago, we watched and reviewed Friday the 13th Part 3. That movie is like fucking prestige horror compared to this shit.
I'm sorry for things I said 2 days ago.
I am sorry. I didn't know how bad it could be until I
Holy
watched
shit.
this. I am so sorry.
Oh my god. What did we give 13 Ghosts?
Whatever it was too low because this movie is fucking
Fuck,
movie.
man.
Rotten Tomatoes says Texas Chainsaw this is from the audience section. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is gory, but it isn't very scary, and it definitely doesn't help that the story hardly makes any sense. So we're not the only ones.
Okay, good.
Okay, thank God.
I don't know. And please, I don't even want to talk too much about this. What score is it? And give me a 2-sentence about this movie.
I'm gonna give this a 7. Here's my 2 sentence. Watch something else, please.
Dan, where you at?
I'm with Nico. I'm going to do a 7. This movie, I tried so hard to give it the benefit of the doubt, and it failed. This was a horrible movie. And we just obviously joked about it for a half hour. Watch something else.
I am going to give this one a generous 25. I did not think that I would rank something lower than Ghost Stories, but here we are. And I'm ranking it a 25 purely for the visual effects department. They put in work. So it's for them. It's for them. It's not for anyone who wrote the plot. Certainly not. You're in timeout.
Shout outs to the artists of the industry. We love you.
Yes. Yes. And I will say this. This movie is a convoluted pack of shit. It truly is. Like, all I can say is watch something else. You have, for as long as people still use Netflix, something else to watch on that platform, which is where this movie is. Or you can go on Tubi and watch something else. Or you can message us on social media and I'll write you a story that's better than this.
Literally, this isn't even a like, oh, this is gonna be, they hate it. It'll be fun to hit. No, it's just you're gonna have a bad time.
Mm-hmm.
Just watch something else.
This isn't even one of those that's like fun to watch and like joke around about because it's like that kind of bad.
You're
like
gonna
Troll
be
2.
angry yelling at the TV like we were.
Yes.
I multiple times was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Like multiple times I said that as I was watching this movie. Like Bonner was like, what the fuck is going on in this movie? And I was like, dude, you don't even want to know. So it's clearly getting a pass from us. No golden seal, no nothing like that.
Nope.
This is a contender for one of the worst movies we've ever reviewed on the pod.
Yeah. It's up there with fucking 13 Ghosts.
I think on aggregate, this is the worst movie we reviewed on
I'm
the
pretty
pod.
sure it is. Actually, it has to be. Yeah.
It has to be.
Yeah.
So if you have had the misfortune of watching this and want to let us know what you think about it, or if you have spared yourself the, I don't even know what to call it, the experience.
The harrowing.
but you feel like you want to let us know, or if you're like a sick fuck who liked it, let me know. I really do want to know what you liked about this. Hit us up. We're on social media. We're on Twitter and Instagram at DOTD Horror. We're on Facebook. Don't open that door. Plus, you can check out our reviews of movies that are way better than this.
Like the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Like the original one.
Yeah.
That's dotdhorror.com. But till then, take care of one another. Watch better movies than this. And as always, dear listener, don't open that door. Bye.